Testing, testing. All right, we are live. Keep an eye on Apple here, see if it's going to fill this gap completely. Going on tuned. We'll give people a few minutes to get in the stream before we get started. If you look at the gap on the 1 hour on Apple, it's almost filled. If you take the wick, it has been filled. If you take the body, not so much. Maybe one little trap here and then pull back. You can definitely see the weakness, though. The weakest it's been probably all month, to be honest. Go ahead, take a look at strong USD, 530K max supply, 37 million. Strong, let's see. It's only on Qcoin, huh? That's a red flag there. Actually doing pretty good, though. Doing very good. I have 300% from the low here. That's not bad. Looks like it could be forming like a cup and handle maybe on the daily. The weekly is really clean. Nice breakout. This could turn into a cup and handle. So watch for a little bit of resistance up here. And then he could maybe pull back and then push higher. Doesn't have to though, but it's kind of looking like it. This candle, it looks bullish, but these are typically not very bullish when they happen on the top of a resistance right here. So watch out for that. I would wait to see how the next day confirms. If it closes like this and then you just see like a big green candle coming in, then it's definitely the buyers that came in on the bottom pushing it up. But these can end up being traps, where like it gets pushed up, but then it closes on resistance and it's just not strong enough to break the high, and then it pulls back. So you gotta watch out for that. Yeah, overall it doesn't look too bad, honestly. For a coin that's only on Qcoin, they typically are pretty dog shit. This one doesn't look too bad. Oh, you're running nodes? Nice. Yeah, I don't know anything about all that. Hey, Patchy said, what do I think about options? I'm guessing you just mean like the options market. I think it's a really good market to be in. It's a lot to learn. Definitely, you got to learn a lot of different terms, and there's a lot of jargon, a lot of different strategies. It's like even if you know how to trade, you have to learn a completely new market. So it's definitely a lot of work. I will say the people who put in the work are going to do a lot better than the people who are just naked buying lottos and buying like really bad contracts, right? So if you're someone who wants to put in the time, I think you'll like options definitely. But like I said, you have to be willing to work. It's not easy to learn. Yeah, Poncho, I put in offers on 2 houses. I won the bid on both, and I got to pick which one I wanted, so it's all looking good so far. Knock on wood. Toon, you said I bought options made easy by a guy. Is that a book? Options made easy? I've actually not read any options books, funny enough. I've read a lot of trading books, but I have not read any options books. Most of the stuff on options I learned from just reading like Investopedia. They're very, very good for options. Tasty Works, they've got a bunch of videos on YouTube. That's mainly where I learned most of the strategies and whatnot. But yeah, if I had to pick a #1 source, it would be Investopedia. That's honestly for like anything trading related. Investopedia, I think it's .com. They're the best site. You can type in pretty much any trading term, and they'll give you a very thorough explanation. No, I'm not muted. Obviously, you can't hear me. I'm not muted. There you go. Patra said, I'm 16. I want to start trading. I'm confused because there are too many. In India, there are a lot of fake mentors. If you're brand new, man, I think you should just read books, honestly. I think reading, there's a bunch of trading books that will get you kind of acclimated to what trading is like. And you'll know very quickly by reading the books if it's something that you're going to like doing. Like if you start reading trading books and you're just completely bored out of your mind, trading's not going to be for you, man, because trading is a lot of learning. When you're first getting started, you're just learning. It's learning nonstop, and it never stops. Like I'm still learning. So I would honestly recommend like the very first thing you do is just read some trading books. Here I had a command actually. Let's see if the command still works. What was my command I used to use? Book 1, let me see. Oh, there you go. And I think I have book 2. Let's see, book 2. Sorry, I'm spamming you guys. I have commands. I made these a long time ago. There we go. Is there a book 3? I know you guys can't see them on YouTube. I'm going to copy and paste them for you. Oh, there's no book 3, but here are the first 2 I recommend. The first one I recommend is Getting Started in Candlestick Charting by Tina Logan. It's very beginner friendly. It's only like 250 pages. Here is the second one, A Beginner's Guide to Day Trading Online by Tony Turner. That one is, I think, a little longer. I think it's like 300 pages. But those are very, very beginner friendly. Once you've read those, if you want to get a little bit more advanced, the books by Steve Neeson are not bad. You're not a beginner? Well, for any of the beginners in here, those books are really good. And then Steve Nison, Nison. He's got some candlestick books that are really good. And if you guys are not beginners and you want to learn a little bit more advanced stuff, Markets and Profile by, I always forget his name, Dalton. That is an advanced book. Probably my favorite book of all of them. Markets and Profile by something Dalton. I can't remember his first name. But if you guys watch my like volume profile trading video, all that stuff that I talk about in that video, I learned from that book. You already know candlestick patterns, price action indicators, whatnot. So then, what are you looking for? You looking to just get better? I'm not understanding your question. So today was pretty slow. Not a whole lot happened on the scanners. Not a whole lot happened on the cheddar flow. The markets are actually pretty bloody today for how slow of a day it felt like. The indexes are getting a little toppy. They're starting to break some trends. If we look at Qs, you're breaking this uptrend that we've been in for what 2-3 months. If we look at IWM, we're breaking this trend that we've been in for longer than 7 months almost. So the indexes are definitely not looking too good. The best one was Dow Jones, and that was yesterday. It's not looking so hot today. So definitely getting a little toppy on the indexes. I would start pulling some risk off if you guys are very heavy in the markets right now. I am very, very light in the markets right now. My short-term, my main trading account is only in Coinbase. I've got a dollar hedge on UUP, and then I think that's it. I don't have my broker pulled up right now, but I don't think I'm in anything else. And then my long-term portfolio, I've got some tech stuff. I've got a lot of shipping stuff, but I'm not too heavy. So I'd be a little careful if you guys are heavy in the markets. Maybe wait for a bigger correction. Definitely if you're in like big tech stuff, I'd be a little careful. Microsoft is tapping the trend and holding on. Apple is losing the trend. We still have a lot of bullish strength below us, but for right now it's losing. Facebook is testing support, but if we lose this support, then it's definitely going to go lower. Netflix got absolutely annihilated. You finally filled that gap at 549, 550-ish, and then you just nuked right off that level. And then you have Amazon pulling back off of our targets, so that's also not looking too good. And then Tesla as well pulling back. So the big names are getting wrecked right now. So I'd be a little careful. Let me catch up with chat. James F. Dalton, that sounds right. That sounds right. It's got like a orangish red cover, Markets and Profile. You said, my question is, I want to stick to one strategy, and there's so many that I'm confused. Yeah, I understand that. With options, it is kind of hard to stick to one strategy because there is so many. You have to find strategies that work for different market conditions. Like if you guys have been in the Discord since when we started back in like March of last year, we've done many different strategies throughout the past 2 years. When the market was just going straight up, all we were doing was buying naked calls because that's all you needed to do. It was that easy. And then the market started to get a little hard, so we started to do some debit spreads. We started to sell some premium. And then the market started to get really choppy, and then we focused on trading shares, and then we focused on selling premium again. And then the market started to go up, but it was a little scary. Like it would go up, it would pull back and reverse, and then it would go up again. When it did that, we started buying diagonals. So we had a lot of different strategies. But you do have to figure out kind of different strategies that work for different market conditions. Patrick, you're really confusing me, man. You just said you were talking about strategies, and now you're saying you're not talking about strategies. I don't know how I can help you, bud. Nader, you said, what do you think about AAL? Let's take a look. I really don't like the travel sector right now. The travel sector is getting wrecked. Airlines, cruise lines, they're not doing good. It's mainly because we're seeing in Europe and across the world, there are a lot of fears with these new strains of COVID, and they're going back into like partial lockdowns. We have some countries going back into partial lockdowns. You have some countries going back into full lockdown. You have places like Great Britain having mandatory vaccines across the board if you want to do anything, basically. So the travel sector is just not going to do well until mainstream media stops fear-mongering the COVID strains, right? So really, until we start seeing, until we stop seeing these constant headlines, I would not be trading any travel. No cruises, no airlines. What I will say about AAL, if we look at the weekly here, it is coming into a big level. This is like the strongest support right here. So if it can bounce off this next week, it looks pretty good. You lose this level, then I would not be in that. Oh, you said you're not talking about options, you're talking about equities. If you're looking for equities strategies, watch my How to Trade playlist on YouTube. I go over all my different techniques that I use on equities or even crypto. When you're just looking for price action patterns to trade, I have videos on all of my techniques. So check those out. Yeah, the EDU calls, dude, those things are buried. That guy buried us. You said also, those ATOS calls at 1450, that guy took a few weeks back getting buried. Yeah, they probably are. There's actually more coming in. I put it on the list here for Cheddar Flow. Let me see. Where was it? ATOS. Where was it? Oh, here's some right here. The 650s and the 250s. So these are deep in the money. He's buying the August 20th $2.50 strike when it was at $4.50. So those are deep in the money. He paid about $400,000 for those. And then he also bought, this might be a different person, but they bought 650s for July 30th. And those aren't that big, only 100K. So those are more lottos. There's deep in the money and then there's lottos. So people are still betting on that. There really wasn't a whole lot of unusual call flow today. We had some silver come in, $2 million in premium. That's for September 30th, 2550, which I can't believe people are still putting a lot of money into these like silver and gold plays. They're just getting buried. So I definitely I don't know what they see there. We had some AMC come in, about $250,000. We had some Myrna come in, actually, just before I started stream. $2.7 million. That's pretty big. I think it's the biggest of the day. $300 strike for, what is that, October? Yeah, October 15th. Let me grab a picture of that. Myrna is definitely one to keep an eye on. That thing just does not stop. The other unusual one that I saw today was MRO. There was repeat call flow coming in all day on MRO. Same exact contracts. The $12 strikes for August 6th. And I kind of understand what they're looking at here. Because if we pull this up, you can see that it's nuking, right? So this is an oil play. it's nuking. But if we go to oil, it's already trying to bounce. It's already trying to recover. So I'm guessing they are playing it as like a lagging play. Like oil's already bouncing, but MRO has not been bouncing, right? It's just nuking. So I think they're anticipating that MRO is lagging oil. That would make the most sense. My thoughts on CHTR. Let's take a look. Not a bad overall chart. Thing likes to go straight up. Not bad. Kind of looks like a boomer chart. That's not bad at all, man. It's up 1700% from the inception. That's not bad. And that's only in the past 10 years. It's a very, very good return. The daily is a little weak. You can see we're kind of losing this uptrend here. Oh, actually, it's trying to bounce off of it. If it holds on to that uptrend, that's not bad. It's a little low, though. It should have bounced a little higher. Because if we look at this recent high, we're kind of back below that high. And then he came back to retest it, and now we're failing it. So that's not too pretty. There is a big support right here. You see this level? You see how we kind of bottomed out here, tried to push higher, but then failed? And then we topped out there and then broke out of it. That's a very big level, like 691. If it loses this trend, that's where I'd watch. And then maybe get like a throwback to the trend. But yeah, this needs to get a little bit higher. That's a little weak. You bought 10 shares of Myrna back in July of 2020? Nice, dude. Yeah, we traded Myrna back in 2020 as well. We traded it live in Discord. And we closed that one pretty early. We were trading options, though, so our options would have expired. But if we bought some shares long term, I put it in my end of the world. If you guys remember back in, what was it? Like March, April, when like the peak COVID was happening. I made an end of world. It's actually still on here. End of the world playlist. Or watch list, I should say. And Myrna was on here, dude. And Myrna was on here low. Like, we're talking shit, $20, $25. This thing's at $285 now. Disgusting. I think Myrna is... It has to be one of the top investments you could have made during the COVID nuke. I think it's like Penn National Gaming. That was like, I think, the biggest. Obviously, like the meme stocks. I'm not really counting those, though. But yeah, like Penn National Gaming. That thing went down to like $2. And then it, what did it peak at? It went down to, look at this, 375 to 142. It's disgusting. It's about a 1,800% return. Disgusting. I think Penn, a couple of the hotels were some of the biggest plays you could have made. And then the vaccine companies. Yeah, no problem, Jose. What's going on, Max? Thoughts on Apple? It's looking very weak. I called it out in Discord that it was failing the trend retest. So you failed the trend, retested it, failed the retest, and then we went for a gap fill. And what did I just say when stream started? Most likely one more trap and then fill the gap. So we're almost there. Disney is ugly now. Yeah, it didn't hold that breakout. What's going on? My thing's broken. Can you guys hear me? Did my internet just drop? What's going on here?
I can hear you fine.
There we go. Disney just almost broke my trading view. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, so this is actually, if today wasn't so weak, this would actually be a healthy pullback. Because this is a bulldog. It's a perfect bulldog. You have a downtrend, bottom, curved back, double bottom, and then you pop up and then you put in a head, right? Now typically you want the head to stay above the back. So like all this support right here, and it was resistance, now it's support. You want this to put in the head, right? You don't want it to put in a head like that though. You don't want it to like nuke like that. That's usually a little weaker. Typically you want it to be like a bull flag where it's kind of like just kind of going sideways, but slowly, like slightly downward slanted. That would be better. But still, as long as it holds like 178, this is actually a bullish pullback. And if we take a fib here, you can actually see we're kind of getting in towards that buy zone. The buy zone would be like 176 to 178. That'd be a little low for the bulldog, but for Fibonacci, that would not be a bad area to buy. Yeah, I've noticed that sometimes tuned. The app on the desktop kind of gets a little laggy. Yeah, Poncho for sure. There's honestly nothing that I had on my watch list that looked really strong going into this weekend that still looks strong. They're all starting to pull back a little too much. Like Square is breaking the level. MasterCard still looks decent. I added that one recently. Lulu is failing resistance. Affirm had too deep of a pullback. GTBIF had too deep of a pullback. Baba's topping out. Like all these ones that looked good. Snow failed resistance. Disney failed. FSLR failed. What else do we have here? DoorDash still looks a little decent, but once again, it's just slightly too low. These corrections are just getting a little too deep. Like all these things that we were watching, if they would have corrected just a little bit higher, they would be okay. But they're just looking a little too deep. And with the indexes looking the way that they do, like Dom was talking about this in Discord, the tweezer top on NASDAQ, that's not good. Tweezer top with confirmation, with double confirmation. And you're breaking an uptrend. That's not pretty. ES doesn't really have a candlestick pattern here to like warn you that it was topping, but it's definitely getting a little weak. Russell is definitely getting weak. You've already had your top, and we're already pulling away from it. And then Dow Jones, big engulfing candle coming in. Not looking too good. And then one thing I posted on Twitter, not sure if you guys saw my tweet. If we look at VIX, and we look at the RSI here, go to the weekly, and we can zoom out for the past 10 years, or almost 10 years. It goes back to like 2014. So about 7 years. But if we take that, we could even go back probably 2 more years, but whatever. This level on RSI, around like 40 to 43, it's almost always where VIX bottoms out and then starts to push away from it. And you can zoom out even farther than that. And almost always, if we take a linear regression here, I'll probably show you. Let's see. I've never tried taking a linear regression of an RSI. Oh, it actually doesn't work. Okay. So I can't actually do that. But you can see here that most of the lows are around that 43 to 40 area. It doesn't ever really get below that. It got below it in like 03 and then 08. A couple of these like crises that happened. Recovering from the recession and whatnot. But it almost always bottoms there, which is a little scary. Because if VIX bottoms, that means that the volatility is going to increase in the market, and most likely the indexes are going to come down. Another thing that looks a little bearish is DXY. So DXY is the dollar index, right? It shows you how strong the dollar is. If the dollar does very well, then equities typically pull back. DXY has a beautiful double bottom here, and this double bottom is off of a 10-year support. This level was created back in the recession, and then we topped out, pulled back, and then ripped above it, pulled back to retest it around 2018, and now we're pulling back to retest it again. So this level is huge. And we go down to a weekly. We're breaking the 50-week moving average. We're breaking all the local kind of moving average resistance. And we're kind of breaking out of this long-term resistance we've been in for like a year and a half. Right? Now, if I had to say like one key level, it'd be like from here to here. Because we have that support tried to push higher than nuked. And then we have the resistance that pushed us lower. So anywhere from like 92.30 to like 93.30 is major resistance. If DXY breaks above that, very likely going to get that pivot around 95 to 96, and that would definitely push the market lower. Now, another macro thing to look at that is not bearish, is actually bullish, are the yields. The bond yields are plummeting, which is typically very good for big tech, and big tech drives the market. So the 10-year yield here is just falling off a cliff. If this continues to go down, and we continue to break like 133, go back down to like 118, 119, big tech should definitely continue higher. So keep an eye on the yields. If the yields start to pop back above 135, 140, then big tech is going to struggle. You can also see that in the bonds. If you look at the bonds, they're inverse yields, and the bonds are doing very well. One last macro thing you can look at is USD Jpy. A good way to look at how strong the dollar is. And we're breaking a massive monthly downtrend and retesting it. The dollar is getting stronger here. If you guys are long-term traders, those are all macro things you need to learn how to watch. For you short-term guys, it doesn't really matter too much. But for you longer-term guys, you have to watch the yields, watch the dollar, watch VIX. They'll kind of give you a little warning on how the market's doing. How is Tesla looking? Not too good. Nothing in big tech is looking good. And I consider Tesla big tech, even though it's a car manufacturer. I think Tesla can go down to 628 pretty easily. You lose that, it could go down to 600. Hey, Tuned, I appreciate the $5 tip, man. No problem at all, man. I like helping you guys out. I need to get the alerts set up on YouTube. I don't have any alerts set up currently. If you look at VWAP today on the Open a Spy, you can kind of see what happened today. You had a nasty open. So like, let me get rid of these. That's yesterday's range. So we blew through yesterday. Actually, let me bring these back. So this was yesterday's range, the first hour of the day, looking for the initial range. This kind of gives us an idea of what our day is going to be like based on how we react to yesterday's range. So the high and the POC were kind of right here, so we had a lot of support. Right as we opened today, we lost yesterday's high and POC. That is not good. So that was the first warning sign that this was very weak. And then we had yesterday's low right here, and we lost that too. That was your first sign today was pretty bloody. And then if we get rid of these lines here, and we show you today's range, this would be today's. And we can see we're kind of wide here, pretty bearish. So kind of wide, pretty bearish. And then we take the VWAP just to give us a little bit more of an idea of what's happening here. And then look at what happens on VWAP. This is VWAP, the purple line. So we pull back. We have the range low of the day, the initial range low. We try to bounce back inside the initial range. So this is pretty bullish. This right here is pretty bullish. So you could have got trapped on this. Like this candle right here is definitely very bullish. You recovered the range. Nice, strong green candle. But if you're watching VWAP, all of this is just, it's kind of a fake out, right? It looks like the buyers are in control, but they're not because they're still trading below VWAP. So then you push up, you try to break through VWAP, instantly rejects it. Okay. Comes back down. Look at where you bounce. It bounces right off the initial range low. Try to go for that secondary VWAP break. Once again, can't do it. So then it gets nuked. And then you break today's range low, straight down. So you had multiple warnings here. I'll go back and I'll show you yesterday's again. So like that is the initial range. All you do is take the value area high, take the value area low, and then take the POC, right? And then we get rid of this. So look at the long lines here, the ones that are longer. That's yesterday's. First sign here, bearish. Came back to retest it, even more bearish. So you kind of had two signs there. And then third sign there. Broke below yesterday's range low. And then after 10:30, which was right here, now we have today's range. Bullish. Bearish, 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 right? So you had like 6 instances today that were very bearish and only one instance that was kind of bullish. And you can do that with any stock too. You don't have to use the indexes. So like same thing with Apple. If we grab today's range, first hour of the day, clearly we're very bearish, right? You have value area low, value area high, POC, excuse me. Start off the day pretty bullish, right? Then we create our initial range. So where's 10:30? 10:30 is right here. So we come back to try to retest the initial range, fail, So there's your first big sign on Apple, bearish. Then you break the day low, the low of the day. Another bearish sign there. Then you break the long-term uptrend, another bearish sign there. Bear flag. I called this out in Discord, told you guys to watch out for the retest of the trend. Another bearish signal there. Break the bear flag, another bearish signal. And then now we're finally going to our bearish target, which would be that gap fill. You guys see how, like, when I break it down like this, how should I put this? Do you guys see why you shouldn't be buying, like, stuff like that? You know what I mean? Like, when I break it down step by step, you can really see how bearish everything was today. And these are not, like, slightly good instances where you can buy dips. They're just, like, completely bearish throughout the day. You make TA look so easy. I've been doing it for a long time, man. I'm coming up on my my 10th year. What is it? It's July, right? July 16th. September, I don't remember what day in September, but I started trading in September. So when it hits September, I'll hit my 10 year. What indicator are you using for the volume areas? It's a built-in trading view. It's called fixed range volume profile. Fixed range volume profile. I think it's right here with the trends. Where is it? Oh, it's here. Fixed range volume profile. And I'm using 100 row size and 70 value area. What's going on, Jazz? I'm not trading anything today, man. Today's very ugly. And I was preoccupied today. I was doing a lot of real estate stuff. Hey, Morph, you said your VWAP YouTube video drew me into trading. That's awesome, man. Yeah, check out the other volume videos on that playlist. You'll like those if you like the VWAP one. Watch the how to trade volume profile. You'll like that one a lot. That basically goes over everything that I'm going over. Excuse me. Goes over everything that I'm going over right now. I'm actually gonna make a new video. Once I'm not so busy. I've been fucking busy as hell recently. About everything that I've been talking about on stream today, like finding the initial range, trading the profile. If you guys remember, if you guys are longtime Discord guys or stream guys, back in, like, I don't know what it was, somewhere around COVID time when we were in Discord, I used to do this live in Discord every single day where I'd show you guys the volume profile levels. I'd call out the different, the nodes and the gaps when it was testing the value rate high, value rate low, yada yada, right? I made a video on that as well. If you guys go to the How to Trade playlist, it's, what's it called? It's called How to Trade, or no, it's called Day Trading SPY Using Volume Profile. That goes over a lot of the different techniques as well. Jonathan, he said Bitcoin's still looking like it wants to go lower. Definitely, yeah. Until it breaks that 50-day moving average, man. I know I've been preaching it nonstop. But until you break that 50-day, man, it's just gonna keep going lower. You lost our OTS pivot. You see that dotted line right there? You lost the OTS pivot there. So now it's very weak. When you lost this weekly pivot here, that was really bad news. You lost the weekly pivot, came back to retest it, then you nuked it 4 times. That's not good. I have not even opened my crypto broker in a long time. Can you check Doge? I'm sure it's still leaking into zero, right? Yep. Nuking. If you guys would have shorted it back when I told you to on stream, or I didn't tell you to, I told you it was a good idea. This is not financial advice, right? But when I told you guys it was a good idea, and it was looking like it was very bearish, you had that pivot and that high that was being tested back here, and then we retested it here, and it just completely nuked that level. Now the question is, where is it going? And that's a big problem, because there is no support on Doge. Because Doge went up so fast, there is literally no support. There's support way down here at like 7 cents. There is nothing in between 7 cents and where we are now. This was the last support. This little pivot right here. You put in a pivot, put in a nice little bottom here. That was your last support. There is no support left. So until we quickly reclaim 20 cents, this thing is going back to 7. Let me take a look, Dom. From the July 8th, you mean back? Oh, that's June. Where are you going? July 8th. Oh, you're taking like the most recent move. Oh, we already blew through that. That thing got toast. That's a little too close, in my opinion. I mean, for short-term traders, I guess that would make sense. But if we're trying to determine if this is going to be a deep pullback or not, that's a little too close. I think if you take the low on June 21st, that will give you a much better fib for like the longer-term guys. And the big support for that is around 42.85 and 42.55. Those would be the big fibs I would watch. And then depending on how long term you are, you could go out even further. Like you could go out to this dip here. And that would give you different levels. And you could go down to this dip. So it all depends on your time horizon. That's one thing about Fibonacci is picking your levels. And it's all about picking the levels that fit your time horizon. So like this would be, how many days is this? This is like, that's like 30 days. So I would say like if you're a trader who's trading within 30 to 60 days, I would be watching this fib. If you're trading outside like 45 to 60 days, I would go down to this fib. And so on and so forth. If you're trading like leaps, I would go down even further. I'm pretty happy I closed my IWM yesterday. That thing got murdered. Hey, they took the house that I was bidding on off the market. There we go, boys.
Nice bounce on Apple right now, 5 minutes into close.
If you guys noticed, I've been using a lot less indicators on my stream. And I'm doing that more so to help you guys. It's not that I'm not using my indicators anymore. I'm using them actually the same amount I've always have been. But this is not easy to look at on stream, right? Like when I'm streaming, when I'm using all my indicators, it's just not very easy to look at. You guys who are like new to trading, when you come in and you look at my charts with all my indicators on them, it just looks like a mess. You have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. So what I've been doing lately on stream is I've just been hiding my indicators, and I'm just using the price chart to show you guys kind of what I'm talking about. And what I will say for you guys is when you start trading, this is how you should be trading. That your chart should look exactly like mine, with like nothing on it, just price. If you're gonna put something on it, it's gonna be volume. And at least for like the first year, and I know it's a long time, but like at least for like the first year, or maybe even at least like 3 to 6 months, that's how you have to trade. Because the thing with me, and the thing with a lot of you guys probably in chat as well, who've been trading for a little while, I can throw on as many indicators as I want, and I can still see all the same shit that I'm showing you without any indicators. Because you learn how to like read the candles, and then you learn how to read the indicators step by step, right? You start with one, you add another, and then you add another, then you add another. If you do it one by one, it's easy to put it all together. If you just try to start from 0 to 100 and you put everything on your chart, you don't know how to read any of them. So it's not going to work. So I highly recommend, if you guys are new to trading, this is what your chart should look like. Hey man, I don't want to butcher your name, but you said, I loved your volume profile and VWAP videos. Great work. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad you liked them. I had a lot more educational content that I was going to come out with the newsletter. We had that newsletter for what, a week? And then we got banned. So I'm probably just going to add some new videos to our YouTube instead until we can figure out the whole newsletter thing. The problem with the newsletter, guys, is most newsletter companies, they do not let you talk about crypto in any way. So like, because my summary of markets, I do analysis on Bitcoin, and then we talk about crypto in the Discord, they ban me. And that's pretty much almost every newsletter. They do not let you talk about crypto, which is really stupid. So we're trying to find ways around that. And then we'll bring back the newsletter when we figure that out. 30 seconds until close, guys. If you guys are in any trades, make sure you're okay with holding them into the weekend. And there's the bell, guys. Market is closed. Let's take one final look at the index, and I'll let you guys go. Nasty close on ES, not looking too good. I think SPY also lost its local trend. Yeah, we lost the local trend on SPY. Q's lost its local trend. This could be a fake out. So we do want to wait for some confirmation, maybe Monday, Tuesday. But we did lose these trends, which is not pretty. And then technically, look at that close. Look at that close on Russell. You lost that trend as well. So 3 indexes have lost their trends. Did Dow Jones lose? I don't think so. No, so Dow Jones is the only one that's holding its trend here. It's a little scary. Microsoft holding its trend. Apple lost its local trend, but it's still holding the longer trends. Facebook still holding support for now. Netflix got absolutely nuked. Maybe go for the gap fill very soon. Amazon retesting big support around 35.50. And then Tesla probably going to come back down to like 628. So everything's looking a little weak. But all right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys enjoy your weekend. I will be posting the Summary Markets weekly watch list on Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. And then I'll be streaming on Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern, same time as always. If you guys are new to the stream, make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube or give us a follow on Twitch. And that's all I got for you guys. Morph said, is your daily trading routine also based on order flow? No. I only do order flow when I'm scalping. And I haven't been scalping for a very long time. Order flow it's almost only for scalping. You can try to use order flow for like swing trading and stuff, but it's not as strong. Order flow is strongest when you're scalping. Like if you're using exo charts, I've got videos on that, by the way. You can check them out. I go over my order flow techniques. There's also a private order flow video in the Discord. So if you guys are in the Discord, go to the mentorship section. There's a private order flow video in there. But yeah, it's mainly for scalping. Hey, Fortune, I appreciate that, man. I'm very excited. I don't want to get my hopes up too much. I know it can still fall out for a few different reasons, so I don't want to get too happy, but it is exciting. But all right, guys, you guys enjoy your weekend. I will see you guys back on Monday. Watch out for the watch list on Sunday.